did you find the people there at Maramuresh? What was your first impression, and how did it develop afterwards? How are they, from your perspective?
Right. I mean, that's why it's interesting to be here in Bucharest right now. I mean, it's Bucharest is very, very cosmopolitan now and everything, and obviously you're in the capital city of a country and everything. I mean, but for many years, like my whole conception of Romania was just of these was of the farming people, um, which maybe isn't so accurate, obviously. But no, a lot of the countryside is. I mean, a lot of Romania is still full of farming people, right? They're amazing people. In America, we didn't really ever have peasants. I'm not using peasant in any sort of derogatory way. I'm talking about people in Maramuresh are like subsistence farmers, pretty much making enough money for themselves. In America, we've always had farmers. From the beginning, back like 300 years ago, it's always been about profit. And so you have these large farms. I mean, you have farms in Romania where you have flat land too, but in America, you've always just had farms where people were trying to make money, huge acres, and you never had these intimate villages like you have in Romania, right?
Or in Europe?
Generally. Yeah, not just Romania, right? You've always had these villages in France, Italy, and Spain, and so on, of course. So that, to me, was amazing. There was something I was missing from America, and that's part of the reason why I'm here still right now is um, I grew up in a rural area in America, in the northeastern part of the U.S., Massachusetts, north of New York, but it's nothing. As people always say, it's a new country, and you don't have villages like you have here in Europe. So how are the Maramuresh people? They're amazing, incredibly hospitable. Much more hospitable than any Americans ever are. It's just, I mean, you know, if you go meet a farmer in America, sure, the guy's a nice guy, probably on the whole, and he'll help you out and so on. But I was able to stay with these people, this family in Vilaine for like 10 months. It's a little bit of a unique experience. I mean, I don't know if anyone could just do this, but um, it also would probably be a little bit more difficult now just because, as I said, all the youth have been going to Western Europe. They're very well aware of how you can make money. So, if you
They
go...
changed a bit.
Yeah, the mentality changed a bit. If I went to Maramuresh now, they'd probably be expecting like 20 euros a night. I mean, that would be expensive to stay like a year.
Yeah.
But I also really put out and really uh, like became a part of this village and everything and like there were two children, mother and father. The father and the son, who at the time was about my age, he was like 23 then. They went for like 6 months out of that year to work in, how do you say, Curte de Argeș?
Curtea de
Curte de Argeș, yeah, in the south here. And so I was just left with the daughter and the mother, so it was actually quite good I was there. I mean, because I could actually, they're strong people, but I'm just saying, I could help out with various things. So it all worked fine.
So you were part of the family, actually.
Exactly, yeah.
How did you communicate?
Well, that's the other thing. I've linking up with someone now so I can learn proper Romanian, but I sort of I think I've lost it, but a bit now. But they have a slightly, I mean, they know Romanian, but they have a slightly different, I guess, dialect with certain words that are totally different, right? So I sort of knew those words, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've studied French, and there's some somewhat less, a little distant in terms of the Romance connection, but yeah, it's sort of one of those things where you start to understand a lot without necessarily being able to pronounce it properly. It's one of those things.
So you understood what they were saying.
Yeah. Also, it's a lot of the time it's about the same things, so you start to understand what people are saying. To be quite honest, Yeah, I think that's part of it also.
But did you learn to speak Romanian?
No. I'm still. That's what I'm talking about. I've linked up here in Bucharest. I'm linking up with this girl who's gonna be my tutor because I want to be able to. I don't think it's that hard. It's not Russian.
Yeah, if you know French.
Well, I know French at some degree. Yeah. So right. So. Yeah.
But
so yeah.
It might take you some time.
No, I'm not a natural linguist. My sister is, but I'm not. Yeah, it'll take some time. But it's stupid if I'm here for this. Yeah. So, anyways, I mean, of course, I have to learn. But now with more and more people speaking English, and of course all the young people speak English, it's like you can easily get by sometimes with not, which isn't
Especially in Bucharest.
well, especially here, which isn't necessarily the best thing for me. So, but, yeah.
For how long do you plan to stay in Romania?
Well, no. So if I continue from what I'm saying, so that was that whole thing that happened in Maramuresh. Then I came back to the United States and I sold some of the work in magazines and things, but then I did a master's degree in photography in 2006 in London for a year. And then I started coming back to Romania. I was sort of gone from Romania in 2004, 2005. Then I came back in 2007, and I was able to get an apartment through a family friend. And so the last, between 2007 and 2008, for a year and a half, I sort of made trips back and forth to Romania, doing a few different assignments for foreign Western European publications. And I was sort of keeping this apartment here. Finally, a year ago, I moved here and have spent most of this year. Yeah.
Here in Romania?
Yeah, part of the spring I was back in the US, but the whole summer, last winter, yeah. So now, while continuing to occasionally go back up to Maramuresh, I'm trying to do wide-ranging other assignments, not just here in Romania, but around the region. I have work distributed through a photo agency that's in Vienna. So I upload all sorts of pictures to them, not just from Romania, and they occasionally sell pictures from there, and they occasionally get me assignments. Just did an assignment 2 weeks ago here, sort of interesting. It was just a portrait assignment of an ancient history professor here at the university. I don't know if you know her, Zoe Petru.
Zoe Petru.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You heard of her? You know her?
Yeah. She's quite famous because.
Yeah, she's with Constantinescu.
Yeah.
Serving as advisor.
His advisor.
Right, because she's been at. I think she said she's retiring. It's her last year. And there was this article. It was an assignment for this American publication called The Chronicle of Higher Education. Sort of this well-respected academic, a journal on academia, basically. And the article, reporter had come here and interviewed her beforehand, but it was an article sort of about how academia has changed in Eastern Europe in the past 20 years. So they interviewed professors like in the Czech Republic, in Poland, her. So I just took a portrait. But I do assignments like that. 1 half-hour photo shoot pays like a month's rent. But the problem is I don't get those assignments every day, so it's not like